Have you ever wondered what else VR can offer other than playing games and socializing? Ever wondered how it can actually help content creators brainstorm their new Colossus? Hey, I'm Michaela Wirtz, and I am the author of Plot, Plan, Create, which is a book about how to use a VR program called Noda to go from zero to ready to create. So in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to basically brainstorm one of my book ideas. So what we're going to do is let me go ahead and introduce. This is the sunroom, and as you guys can see, it's just a round kind of forum, and it's really helpful for small groups or just being by yourself. So the first thing that we're going to do is you've got your controllers, your right one and your left one. And basically on them, you have got, your upper triggers. Okay. If you're using your hands, you're just going to pinch your fingers together. All right. So the way that I begin is I always begin with a what if scenario. Okay. What if a university student was caught actually writing their own paper, not using AI? Would that be a good thing? Would that be a bad thing? Let's find out. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to download one of my maps. So we're going to go ahead and change cameras. All right. Okay. And as you can see, I hit the B button, and now we're going to go into maps. Okay. And so I'm going to start out with just make it a map that I can remember. Okay. So now we're in college. All right. And we have nothing built yet. So now the first thing that I want to do is I want to do some high-level brainstorming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import my high-level brainstorming map. And this is what you basically see. Now, the originator from this was Abby Emmons, and she does some very awesome work. And so I highly recommend her. I did add a few things to this as well, but basically, this is how you look at any story. So the first thing we need to know is who are the characters? And so basically, and again, it says novel, but I'm going to go with just story. And I want to really understand who this character is. So I'm going to go with a female, and I am going to go ahead and name her Sarah. All right. And to do that, I am going to go ahead and just hit my trigger, and this time I'm going to hold it and I'm going to let the AI actually type for me. Sarah. Okay, and there we go. This is Sarah. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is you can see that it just comes up as a green kind of ball. So I'm going to put my white circle inside of the green circle until you can see the white outline, and just pull the trigger. And what this does is this brings up an in-app menu, and it's specifically for the node, which is what this is. And so what I want to do is I want to, do I want to change the color? Do I want to change the shape? Do I want to add an image? Do I want to add notes? And so here I do want to add notes, and I want to say, Sarah, oh, come on. Sarah is a college student that lives at home and is working on a paper for her journalism class. She is one of only a few students who do not believe in using AI to generate anything from research to finished product. She doesn't use anything, including Grammarly. Okay. And so there we go. And when I close that, you can see that everything that I said here is a part of the notes, right? So now, what do I want to do? I want to go ahead and put Sarah here as a part of this. So I'm going to basically say, okay, so who's in this novel? And so I'm going to kind of make a connection, right? And so we've got Sarah. Now, the next thing that I'm going to need is the professor, right? Because obviously she's taking a class here. So we're going to say Professor McMillan. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and basically change the shape for this so that it looks a little different, right? And so now we've got the professor. Now, do we want to say anything about what? Oh my goodness. Well, it, as you guys can see, it changed this, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and add Professor McMillan. So now, again, I put my circle inside the shape and I wait until I see that it's got an outline and then I drag it there, right? So now, who else do I want to add? Okay. Well, does Sarah have a roommate? Who would be that roommate? Let's see. Let's call the roommate Zoe. Zoe. Now, as you can see, it uses the very last shape that you have used and the same color. But again, I'm going to put white circle in here and I click once and here we go. So, I don't like that color. So I'm just going to make Zoe blue. And the shape, because she's a student, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to just say Zoe is a roommate and she is also a member of the Tri Sigma sorority. And there we go. So we know she's a sorority member. And again, we come over here and drag that over. Drag that over here. And again. All right, I see what the problem is. It's trying to go through the note. There we go. So who else should we have in here? Should we have a TA? Absolutely. TA, teaching assistant, Trevor. And we're going to make Trevor. Let's make him the same color as the teacher. Is it this one? It must be that one. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make him the same shape because, teaching person. We'll come over here and we're going to put in notes. Trevor is a TA and is working for Professor McMillan. Okay. And so now, there we go. There we are. Who else should we have? What about Sarah's mom? Sarah's mom. Okay. And now the color, we're just going to make her green. And the shape we're going to make we'll make that a parent thing. And so go ahead and do that. Come on. And there we go. All right. And so now you can see that we've got some ideas about who's going to be in it, right? Then the next thing we're going to look at is what is the main character's internal conflicts and misbeliefs. So I'm just going to say use of AI in academics. Okay. And I'm not quite sure at this point about what that would look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the AI brain. And we've got two things. We've got brainstorming mode and pros and cons. Now, I haven't been in college for a little while, so I'm going to say that I want to brainstorm why the use of AI in academics is a big deal. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to use my X button to close them up, get them out of the way here so that I can actually read them. Okay, so let's see. The first thing that we're looking at, and we're just going to go X again, is we've got privacy concerns, job displacement, and bias in algorithms. So any of these could be about her misbelief or an internal conflict. And we're going to call this an internal conflict, right? So we've got bias, we've got job displacement concerns, we've got privacy concerns. Right? The next one that we've got are what are the benefits? And again, we're looking at data-driven insights, enhanced learning experience, improved efficiency. So these are things that might help, but are not related to the conflict, the internal conflict, right? So now we're going to talk about introduction of AI, right? And they're saying, okay, we're going to define it, the importance of education. And when I look at that, that has nothing to do with the internal conflict. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my white circle inside. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back. Do you see the pullback of the thumbstick? And then I'm going to hit the trigger and that deletes it. And then we've got application of AI. And I'm not sure that any of these personalized learning, administrative tasks, grading assessments, that would not have anything to do with her internal conflict, I don't think. So I'm going to X it, then I'm going to pull back my thumb trigger. You see it turns black, hit the trigger. So basically what we've got is we've got the challenges, right? And when I look at the challenges, these are incredibly accurate, okay? And it could be that her internal conflict about using AI to write a paper is because, privacy concerns, right? And so with the benefits of it, these are not something that I think she would take into account. So let's go ahead and close that up. Hang on. Benefit, there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this over to her misbeliefs. So I'm going to close that up. Now, if you take a look, I just put the white circle inside of the line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this connection by pulling back on the thumbstick. You can see that. And pull the trigger. So now it's not a part of the brain anymore. So I'm going to grab this. And again, to grab it, I am using the lower trigger. And now I'm going to say, okay, this is a part of what her conflict is. So again, you can see I'm adding that, and now I'm opening it, right? So far we've got the characters, or at least the start of characters, and we've got what her internal conflict is. The next part is, why do they each have individual reasons for being a part of the story? Okay. And so basically, we can say Sarah is the main character, obviously. Sarah's mom is worried about her, right? Zoe, obviously her roommate. The professor is teaching the class, and it may include the ethics of using AI. And then, of course, you got Trevor, who believes in AI, and there would be a conflict between Trevor and Sarah. So I need to know what you guys think. This is the start of a potential short story. And basically, what we're looking at is, who are the characters? What are their internal conflicts, misbelief? And why do each of these individuals have, what is their reason for being a part of that story? So let me know what you think.